Hello, hello, hello. Thank you all for coming. We thank you for joining us. We are the Movement. We're a motivational organization veered to educate minds, empower, nurture, and transform. We are a movement to move. You could have gone anywhere else, but we're so excited that you decided to stop here with us. We want to see you thrust into your purpose so that you can start living your best life and win. We're winning, and we want to see everybody else win. So we just want to take a moment just to say, thank you again, and we're going to get into our discussion. We're excited. Right, Annette, I want to let my partner Annette say her greeting.
Well, hello, everybody. Again, we're so excited. It seems like these Wednesdays roll around so quick.
Yeah, I do.
Wow, we were just on. But anyway, we thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. Like Anita said, we have a guest tonight who's going to pour out, and we hope that you're empty and you're ready to be poured into. So again, thank you, and thank you.
All righty. So while we get started here, I'm going to share our screen and get our PowerPoint going here. One second. Let me get to the right screen because that is not the right screen.
Are we gonna fire the PowerPoint lady again?
You know what? The PowerPoint lady has been really like not the one. I know last week was like really strange. So, all righty. Tonight's topic is very sensitive. And it's because it takes us to a place where our vulnerabilities surface. It makes us look at our exterior, and it makes us actually even confront ourselves, even if only to ourselves. It also makes us expose and deal with our inner self, because at the root of whatever is going on in your life is something that's buried deep down on the inside, and we have to deal with it in order to break free from it. So what we did tonight, we titled this discussion Wrapped Up, based on an organization founded by our guest panelist tonight, Brenda Jackson, who is no stranger to us. We see her on here. If you're familiar or a regular with us on Wednesdays, you have seen Brenda Jackson and you've heard her speak. And we've talked a lot about having her come on. She's the lady with the cookbook. So she started an organization called Peeling the Onion Journey. So we called it Wrapped Up, Peeling the Onion Journey. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. And where we're going with this is somewhere that really kind of gets very sensitive, because it causes you to really unveil and unwrap some things that, most of the time we don't like to deal with us. We just don't. So first of all, I want to go through and say, people are like onions. Sometimes we have layer upon layer upon layer upon layer before you actually get to the first real layer, or that exterior layer. So we're built like that. If you look at an onion, on the exterior, it's ugly. It has a lot of, you can't really tell where it begins and where it ends. And before you can do anything with this onion, you first have to peel back to actually see what's underneath. So what we actually see when we are dealing with the onion is the exterior layer. This is, and for in the natural, when it comes to people, this is the area that the general population sees. This is the layer that people don't often, they make assumptions on who you are based on what they see, because they don't really know you. And you don't really show them you from the exterior. They don't know you, so they're basing it on what they see. They haven't seen your inner space. And so this is something that when they're in your physical presence, a lot of times, I used to get this a lot, girls can be very petty and catty. When I was young, I would always get the, ooh, she thinks she's cute. No, you see me and you think I'm cute. Therefore, I really must be cute. Because that was one of the biggest things. That was one of the biggest things. Why is that? When I was growing up, that was a big thing. She thinks she's cute. She thinks she's cute. Whatever. So this is what happens on the outside. This is that exterior. And when we look at the exterior of an onion, like I said, it's very ugly. This is a cute one, the picture I have here, but most of the time when I'm in the grocery store and I'm looking for an onion, I just start sifting through and looking, and then some of the peelings are coming off. And that's us too. Our lives are sometimes in a raggedy mess.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have peelings here and there, and then you pick up the onion and something falls off of the onion.
Yeah.
That's us. And the funny thing is that we think we're hiding when we are wrapped up in all of this stuff, but you are not. You're going to find that out tonight. So then we have the second layer. And this one is when we go past the exterior layer, and I call this past the mask. Because what's on the outside is usually a mask. Remember now, we say the exterior layer is what people think they know of you. And when you're around people, or when you pass people, like sometimes I can tell you, I've known people that I've seen in the grocery store, and I didn't think that it was somebody I would ever want to be around. And then when I got to know the person beneath the layers, it was like, wow, you're nothing like I thought you were. Has it ever happened? Have you ever dealt with someone like that? And I'm always leery when people say that about me, because there was a time in my life where people used to say, believe it or not, I was unapproachable. That's hard for me to see when I look at myself now, because I'm too approachable sometimes. As Brenda Jackson always says, you attract the darndest people.
Yes.
So sometimes I can come across a little too approachable. But when you get past the mask to that second layer, this is where we are around people like coworkers and clients and people at church. These are the people that you have to interact with because you're in a restricted area for a particular period of time. But do they really know you?
No.
Because if you look at this onion, you've peeled back some, but there's still a lot of other stuff there. And even when you start peeling the onion, if you notice, there's still like some of the skin at the bottom, or you will go around and you think you've peeled it all, and on the other side, there's still skin there. And that's the part of the onion that won't cook. I dealt with that even tonight. My sister peeled an onion, and I've got it out of the refrigerator. It was still a little piece of skin left. And that's a pet peeve of mine, because I like to get down in the onion. And I've been told before that I throw a lot of onion away. I throw a lot of the good onion away. I probably do. So then we get to the third layer, and that third layer is the inner you. And this is what close friends and family and people who know you basically for sort of who you are. Because you notice we're peeling, but guess what? There's still a lot of stuff there. There's still some peel there. We're peeling. Now they know you, but they don't really know you. Now I want you to think about something for those who cook, and for those who dabble, and for those who even probably won't even try. If you think about it, think about when you're peeling an onion and you get down to that part that when you think you're on the inside of the onion, right? And you might see a little bit of skin on that one piece, but it's kind of thick. And if you peel that back, there's a thin skin sometimes that you peel off of the inside of that onion. Well, underneath that is when you're getting to what I like to call, when I'm talking about people, because there's that very, very thin layer past that thick layer, which is the inner you. This is the part where people who you love, your family, your friends, your close friends, people get to know you, they know who you are. It's a thick layer, but if you peel back that layer and that thin layer that comes after it, you get to the fourth layer, which is the core. And I call it the soft spot. This layer is usually not seen by anyone. This is where you hide your wildest dreams, your greatest fears. This is where you talk to yourself in the car when you're alone. This is where the thoughts that wake you up at 4 a.m. These are the purest form. This is the purest form of you. And only you can deal with what is there that needs to be evicted. And I want to serve notice, because I want you to understand something. You don't owe it to anyone to allow them into that space, because some people, but most people in your life don't belong there. That's a space between you and God. And you have to really be close to somebody and trust them with that inner.
Yeah.
Be very careful. And it's okay not to deal with that, but it's not okay to not deal with your limiting beliefs and thoughts, your vulnerabilities, and those things that hinder you from progressing. So this is why we want to make sure that you are getting an understanding, because at the core, when you've opened up that core of who you are, it forces you to deal with and see you. You have to face yourself. And that's what we want to get into tonight. And we have a great guest who's going to help us walk through that journey, because this is something that she created. And I have been a part of her creation from years ago, and she's evolved into many different things. But I'm telling you, I never thought about some of the things that she speaks about until I really looked at it. And in putting this together tonight, there was no way. I'm like, we have to bring Brenda Jackson in. So I'm going to turn over to Brenda.
Well, good evening, everyone.
Hello, Brenda.
All right. Well, tonight I'm going to share my experience of peeling, because we all will experience it, even if we don't want to, but it's in your best interest. I implore you, we have to look at our nasty selves. And it's not to insult anyone, but that's when you're really willing to deal with you. And for me, I didn't love me. I literally hated me, because when I looked in the mirror, be it getting dressed to go to school when I was young, and even as an adult in my adult life, every time I looked in the mirror, I saw a monster. So that was the first thing, monster in the mirror. For me, it was based on my weight and the horrible things that people said to me. For others, it might be something of your skin tone, your height, whatever, the way you speak, the way you dress. But for me, I saw a monster. Compliments did not matter. Now, what I'm about to share tonight, and this is truly me going through this, of course, you don't really see this until you realize, oh my God, that's who I was. That's what I allowed. So, and with that, and I will give you an example. What I would do if I went to the store for my mom and I had to go in real quick, she'd drive, I'd get out the car. I would literally put my head down just like this and keep it down so I wouldn't frighten other people.
Wow.
That was my mindset. No matter what you would tell me, all I saw was a monster. I thought people would see me as a freak, so I didn't want to bother them. So that was my way of hiding in public. And with all of that, when you have that kind of mindset and you don't understand your worth, and you figure and you have declared you're less than, you then engage yourself in non-relationship relationships. And that might seem a little redundant, but what it is you've connected with some people. And yes, romantically, business-wise, or whatever, or even friendships, but they're not real.
Wow.
They're not real. You get your feelings hurt. I got my feelings hurt. Things would be said to me, but I would do everything in my power to maintain the connection, because my mindset was people around me, that's what validated me. That's what defined me. So it's not a real relationship. That's why it's a non-relationship relationship.
And you know, oftentimes, I'm sorry, I don't mean to butt in.
No, go ahead.
Something just popped up at me. A lot of times we settle for that because we are afraid of dealing with the real. See, dealing with the real forces you to make sure that the people are in your life because they want to be there.
Right.
And then, you know, because I mean, when you said non-relationship relationships, it's so true, and we will fabricate it and make it be something that it's not.
Right.
She
Mhm. Yeah, it's different with me. He don't. Yeah, it's okay. This works between us.
He's different with me. That's the
That's
best. That's the main.
yes. That's the line. That should be patented and put on T-shirts. But yes, so and here's the problem. You know how they say a mind is a terrible thing to waste?
Mm-hmm.
It really is, but my mind became my enemy of my inner me.
Wow.
Because I would literally rationalize that the people that I've connected with to are there for my good. I, even when my feelings would be hurt, I'd talk it over with a friend of mine, and by the time I get to him, I'm not discussing it with him because I want to maintain the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
But that rolled over into other things and connecting myself with people with business, because I figured they brought more to the table than I did. And there was no way I was going to move forward unless I was connected to them. So that's that non-relationship relationships. And I went through that for a long time until I had to understand how I wanted to be loved. But first of all, I had to love me. You can't answer that question until you love you, because you won't have a blueprint of who you are until you know you. And so allowing people to see your schematics, you have to protect that. A lot of times you have people, and the word does say, guard your heart, but make sure you're not hiding it.
Oh.
Make sure you're not hiding it.
Oh, I felt that.
I need you to understand that, because we will, a lot of times we will use the word as a scapegoat.
Yes, we will. Say that, Brenda.
We will use the word as a scapegoat. Well, no, that's not for me, because if it was, it would have worked out. That is a lie. God said there would be long suffering, but so we hide. And so what we'll do, we'll go to church, we'll be in every ministry, we'll give time, talent, and treasure. And then when you need, child, please, they won't even pass you a Gatorade.
Come on.
So again, even in that, that's a non-relationship relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say it's on every level. And the one thing that happens and continues and perpetuate these type of non-relationship relationships, and I know it's a lot of words to say, but I need to get it in your spirit so you understand when you start your own self-examination. When we stay in this, it's because we kept believing the lie we told ourselves. I kept believing the lie I told myself. I told myself that person wanted to be with me. I told myself it's okay to help them pay a bill. I told myself it's okay to let them drive my car. I told myself that this was good for me. And how can I say something is good for me when I didn't love me? I had no barometer. I had nothing to go by. So I was just going with the moment. I was doing the baby basic fundamentals. I was going where it felt good. And then when it didn't feel good, I'd rationalize it back to good. So
Stacey said something I wanted to share. She said, staying busy to keep from being seen.
Yes. Yes. All the time. And the thing is, it's amazing how people that I've connected with, and when I approach them, they come to me later. Because one young lady, when I met her several years ago, I said, all you do is wear that one ponytail and come to church. When do you live?
Come on.
And that's the question you have to ask yourself. Are you living or existing? Because Anita Wilson asked me that decades ago. And I had to look at myself and admit I was only existing. I was living for others. I was only existing for me. I put my pot on the back burner of the stove because I designated others' pots to be more important. I helped because I have gifts of administration, organization, and I have a creative side. I pushed everyone else's vision and just oversimplified mine. Which
See,
meant
that's the lie. That's the lie right there. That's the
exactly.
lie. It's like you tell yourself they need me.
Exactly.
They can't exist without me.
So you say yes to
The
everybody and
ministry can't
everything they
function
want.
unless I'm there.
Exactly.
The job won't happen if I ain't there.
Exactly.
Don't need to find child, you best ride it down.
And
They'll
that's
wreck
just,
your car and everything.
so you know what? I want everybody to just type in lie after lie after lie.
Best believe I'm gonna get that one in. Lie after lie.
Lie after lie. And because I kept lying to myself, I gave license for people to lie to me.
Oh, man.
So because when you drop that barrier, when you have blurred out the lines of demarcation, when you have no boundaries, you will accept anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like on the movie The Help. Remember that chocolate pie she made? We gonna think that woman thought it was a real chocolate pie.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't, because, and that's what we do. We accept anything because we believe the lie.
Mm-hmm.
So no chocolate pies for me anymore.
No chocolate pies.
No chocolate pies.
Pie for
And
me.
so with that allows me to segue into my last little part here. With all of this was all about attention, looking for that pot of gold, trying to be validated. So I kept looking for Mr. Goodbar.
Yeah. Come on now.
And instead of, Lord, show me who you made me to be. Lord, open my mind, remove the scale from my eyes. And when I began to understand my worth and speak it into me, and that's what I tell people all the time. When you get up in the morning and you done spoke to God, talk to you. Watch your language. Watch your language. If you know something, you get to make the statement, I know. If you're good at something, you get to make the statement. I'm a cookbook author. That's one of many things that I do. But the way I cook, no one else will cook like that. And I don't have to meet everybody in the world to do it. There's 1 billion people in China. Not one of them will cook like me. Not one. They will not walk in my kitchen and do what I do. So in looking for Mr. or Miss Goodbar, that all changed. And I had to stop looking for people. I became a junk food junkie for people. And all the people I met was junk food. But until there was deliverance and me realizing my worth, that's when things begin to change. You know how we say we're sick and tired of being sick and tired? Yeah. Make better decisions. Good decisions birth good consequences.
Oh, I remember you said that to me decades ago.
Yes, yes.
Making those good decisions.
Good decisions.
Yeah.
And even more so, I'm going to change it a little bit. Not even just good decisions, but right decisions.
Right. Yeah.
Because right decisions don't always feel good.
That is true.
So, because that good goes on a feeling, it goes on an emotion, and that's what I was doing. But when I made non-emotional decisions of who I am, who God says I am, and what he has put in me, birthed, and is birthing through me, and I say birthing because for all of us, it is constant. It is forever going. It is like a river, that brook that just keeps moving and keeps moving. And the water is ripping. And what happens when water goes over the rocks, it cleanses. And when it's cleansing, you becoming better and better and better. So if you're going to look for Mr. Goodbar, look at yourself and tell you are your Mr. Goodbar, your Miss Goodbar.
I am Goodbar.
Yes. And so that is my peeling experience in a nutshell for tonight. But every single day I speak to me and I thank God of who I am and who I am becoming. So I look forward to my future self and beyond, because that sheet is something else, because this one right now ain't bad at all. So that's it for me.
I'm loving your mom in the background. I am loving her getting her praise on in the background, honey.
Oh gosh.
That's some good stuff.
That was so awesome. Awesome.
So awesome.
Yes.
Whew.
Oh, man.
This is good.
After that, I need to go take a nap. At the core, we're going to deal with onion rings. Onion rings. The layer of an onion are symbolic of revelation. Each peel layer allows one to get closer to the truth. Every time a layer comes off, you're closer and getting closer to the truth. But I was looking at the onion ring. When they make a onion ring, what they have to do with the onion, they have to kind of lay it on its side, and they cut a little piece from under the bottom of the onion so they'll be able to stand, and they begin to cut the rings and prepare for the rings to be fried. Well, like I said, you're getting close to the truth. It's a circle of life. It talks about tears and memories and layers and disguise. This is a point of self-discovery, the rings of an onion. The outer ring actually deals with your perception, how we see ourselves. How is your reaction? How do you get to where you need to be? The middle ring, I'm dealing with the rings because I'm going somewhere, Anita, trust me. The middle ring, it deals with your personal choice. Take charge and don't be a victim, free will. Inner ring, it internalizes values. It's your goals and your aspirations. Where are you going? Where are you taking this onion ring? Have you taken and begin to pull away the rings? Have you tried to get down to the core of the matter? And the hidden ring is the core belief. It's what drives you. It's your personal purpose. It's that deepest and hidden area that Anita alluded to earlier. It's that area that only you and God can be there. Actually, to be honest, there's some hidden areas in our life that we haven't even tapped into.
You are right there.
There's some things we never thought we could do. There's some things we never thought we could be. And actually, because over the course of your life, it's, people begin to heap on you, and because ring after ring, and you'll never be anything, that's a ring. You'll never amount to anything, that's a ring. Go forward, that's a ring. And so you got all these rings and the circle of life going round and round. And that's how we are. We're like a hamster on a wheel. We're going round and round because of what have been heaped on us, because of the things that have been told to us. And what it does is covers the core. And so I dare say there will be some people who will never really be able to find themselves or be able to identify themselves, because often we identify ourselves based on our situation or based on what somebody else told us. Let's say you'll never be anything. And you begin to internalize that. Well, maybe I won't be anything. And there's another ring. And then somebody else tell you, you know what? You're too old. Well, there's another ring. So the rings, the onion rings keep building up, and the core is right there waiting. There's so much in the core. There's healing in the core. There's deliverance in the core. There's honesty in the core. There's integrity in the core. But we can't, because we allow people to give a ring. So often I have to really, when people say things to me I don't agree with, I have to get rid of that out of my spirit. Because what happens when somebody speaks to your head, it goes to your heart. And you begin to say, well, maybe they're right. Well, yeah, maybe this ring, well, maybe I won't. And so there's another ring. So we go 50, 60 years, we still got all those rings. That beautiful core is waiting on you. That leadership is waiting on you. That boldness is waiting on you. That faith, that honesty, that compassion, that justice, that growth is waiting on you, because we've allowed people to put a ring in our lives. As children, that's why I tried really hard raising my children. I tried to make sure, and I know I failed in some areas, but I tried to speak positive. I tried not to tell them they were like their dad, because if your dad is no good, if I tell my kids they're no good, they're just like their dad, what am I telling them? That you're no good. There's another ring. So we have to be careful with the onion rings in our life. Go ahead.
I was looking. I'm just jumping. Y'all forgive me.
Go ahead. No,
I'm looking at the onion on the bottom of the page, that purple one that's cut open.
Yeah.
And when you talk about how there's so many rings that we've allowed to wrap around our core,
Mm-hmm.
you look at that onion and you see all of those rings. Just think about how that represents or symbolizes some of that stuff that you talked about. Because when you cut the onion open in half like that, which is that, I guess they cut it a certain way so that we have this the outer ring.
Yes. Oh, yes.
In order to make an onion ring. And so when you cut an onion in half and look at the inside, there's so much going on.
That's right.
So much going on, and that's our lives. I felt that when you were talking about it.
Can I throw one little
even you're right. Even this onion that's on this on you know that
what
we
you say, Brad?
I want to just throw one thing. I'm going
Go
back
ahead,
to
Brenda.
the purple onion. If you notice, the real shape of you is in the core.
Yeah.
But you're so hidden with those standard circles. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The shape changes once you get to
you better talk right there.
You're hiding. So the shape of you is not that outer core. So, and that just hit me when I was looking at it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And because of life, it makes it appears that everything is greater than the core.
Right.
But
Exactly.
the core is really the greatness. But because we've allowed so much other stuff to encircle us. And I was looking at this onion, and I was looking at something very interesting. If you look at, there's different segments to this onion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got the outer core, then you got about 3 or 4 other areas. So this is why you can't get healed, because when you get rid of all the other outer stuff, you still got the inner
That's
part.
the stuff that's down on the inside that you got to deal with. You got to get to all the other mess before you can get to you.
Yeah. So you can't get to the core. I mean, you can't get to the core because there's so much foolishness, and a lot of this we've allowed people to speak, and some of it's people and some of it's us, like Brenda said earlier. But there's a core waiting, but it's so much. That onion ring is there.
Stacey said the different layers we have to get through to get to the core.
Because once you get through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more. Then you go on the other side, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you've got a constant amount of issues stopping you from the core. Because if you could ever get to the core, if you could ever get delivered from people, if you could ever get delivered from situations, if you could get delivered from yourself, and if you could ever get to that core.
Everybody talking tonight, boy.
Yes.
Everybody talking tonight. Michelle saying yes, different layers, things we allowed.
Yes. Yeah. Because it's so much. And if I look at my own life, and I always talk about the movement, because I think that was my defining moment. Let me tell you something. Keep living. Whoever's going to listen to this, you're going to have a defining moment. So my defining moment, one of my most defining moments, was when I joined the movement, and when I started doing stuff. And so all of a sudden those rings was peeling away. Like, you mean to tell me I could do that? That was a ring. You mean to tell me I can do that? Oh, that was another ring. So all of a sudden, all those rings start moving, and it was always there. My potential was always there. My possibilities was always there. But because it was so much hindering, and you couldn't get to it. But I declare to you, if you begin to remove those rings, there's some greatness in you. There's some leadership in you. There's some boldness, and we need some holy boldness. We need to stand flat-footed and declare whatever we say, whoever we say we are. If you say you're more than a conqueror, how about that's a ring? If you can say God can deliver you, how about that's a ring that's gone? So onion ring is just symbolic of a revelation of who we are going to become. And the closer every time you move a ring, the closer you get to the truth. Because like Brenda said earlier, you already been living a lie. And those lies are those rings. And you get close. And what happens along the way, because of the onion rings, I read that the closer you get to the core, that causes you to cry. Because, onion can make you cry. But they said that comes from the toxins in the onion. So the closer I get to the core, the closer I get to my healing, the closer I get to my deliverance, then the tears, the enemy said, you can't do this. All of a sudden I begin to cry, roll up in a knot somewhere. But I got to know
Yes.
That through those tears, there's deliverance. I often say that my tears are only watering my destiny. So every time I have to cry, that's just watering where I'm going. So if that means you got to remove another ring, I don't mind crying because I know God got something from me. And I'm here to tell you today, remove those onion rings. And I like onion rings in the natural, but we need to be able to take those things and remove them because they don't have a place.
Yes.
And then you're hindered and you can't go forward and you're blocked and you don't know what. And we often say, I know I'm supposed to do something, but what? You got to move them doggone onion rings, get in the way. Because you can't get to what God has for you.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to learn to remove the onion ring. It's a circle of life. And every time you move a circle, you're getting closer. You move a circle.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, you're at the core. You're at you're at that person God called you to be. And that is your onion rings. But also we have where we are emotionally driven. We are so emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What we feel, we tend to do.
Yeah.
Though we probably don't want to admit it, emotional pain is a primary motivator that drives us to do much of what we do. We feel something, and so we do something.
Yes.
If indeed we are influenced by what we feel, and if we feel that it's going to happen, we're going to let it happen. It's important to remember, though, that in the heat of the moment, making decisions that are charged by lie-based pain, nothing good would ever come of it. If you make a decision based on a lie-based pain, and oftentimes your pain will lie to you. Your pain will make you think you will never overcome.
Yes.
Your pain will make you feel you will never be delivered. Your pain will make you feel like it's no tomorrow. Your pain will make you feel like nobody loves you. Your pain will lie to you. And if you make decisions during your pain, 9 times out of 10, you're going to regret that decision. Because once you come to yourself and realize it was a lie, you say, I shouldn't have did that. I shouldn't have made that decision. I shouldn't have said those things. So what we feel is what we tend to do. So I would suggest that when you have a feeling, step back, identify what that feeling really is, and then make a decision.
Keisha said, good word. My tears are watering my destiny. Amen. Removing rings and layers to get to the greatness.
Amen. All right. That's awesome. Awesome. And then we have a default option to emotional pain. We blame and distract. So what happens, we don't really deal with our emotion. We just
say that again.
We blame it and there's a distraction.
Yeah.
People typically respond to lie-based emotion, pain in 2 ways: blame or distraction. They either blame someone or something for feeling what they feel, or they do something to distract themselves from their emotion. They have food, drink, do all kinds of stuff. So we default our options to the emotional pain because we blame and distract. We don't take responsibility for what we have done. Oftentimes we make these decisions, but we default option to blame and distract. So if I could blame you or I could distract, then I don't have to deal with me. I don't have to deal with my emotions.
I can just hide under my ring.
I will never get to the core of who I am if I don't deal with me. So what I do, we've done, we blame other things and we distract. Well, you know what? Well, that's all right. They don't have to call me because see, I'm saying, no, baby. No, you deal with you. Maybe you should take a look in your spiritual mirror and tell God to do something for me. Show me me. Show me these rings. Show me what's hindering me. Show me my life. Show me where I fall short. And maybe things will begin to line up for you. Maybe things will get in place. We have these emotional driven situations that causes us to make decisions, and we'll never be able to get to the core of who we are because we're so busy trying to figure out who we're not. If you ever get to the point that you can figure out who you are, you will be unstoppable. You'll be able to move mountain, and the mountain that won't move, you'll be able to climb. And if you can't climb it, you'll be able to go around them. So you have to get to the point that we be careful how we have to make emotional driven responses. And next is the ABCs of your resilience. My ABCs. So when I like acronyms, and that's just who I
We
am.
know.
Yeah.
In fact, I got another one too, by the way. But I believe in our thoughts. I'm trying to get to the core of who God called me to be. I'm trying to figure out, okay, so what? You'll be 60 in May. You just starting to live. It's almost like I had a new birth. I was born May 14, 1959, but it's almost like May 14, 2018, God did a new thing. So it's a new birth. It's I'm still who I am, but I don't view me the same way. And so there has to be you have to be able to resilience. How can I survive? How can I make it? How can I do that? Well, A is adversity. The situation, event, being in a challenging situation. How do you handle adversities as you're getting to the core? How do you, when things come against you, do you get somewhere and ball up in a corner and cry? I used to say, do you sit in a rocking chair, rock and blow bubbles? How do you handle adversity? Because adversities will come. But if I know that I'm headed to my core, if I know that God has something for me, if I know I have a mission and a vision, then I got to be able to handle my adversities. Because adversities come, but adversities actually comes to build character, to build who you are, to make you more. Adversity make you think different, because now I never dealt with this before. Now how I don't deal with it? So all of a sudden it makes your mind sharper, because now you going through something you've never been through. So now you got to figure out how to do it. So adversity brings strength. It makes you strong. It makes you different. It makes you look in the mirror and you see the same face, but there's a different glow. When I look in the mirror, I'm shining. Well, not because I'm oily either, okay? But it's because I know I got to reach the core. I know there's something that God has for me. Yeah. And I know there's something that's for you. I know you guys have visions and dreams, but don't let adversity stop you, because adversity will stop you from getting to the core. Next is our B is for our belief. What are you believing? Believing is interpreting a situation. What is your belief system? You can't be, you got to have a sense of integrity. You when you get out there, you got make sure that your name is not mudded up. You got to have a belief system, and people got to, not only you got to believe in you, but somebody got to believe in what you're offering. I'm not buying your cookbook if I don't believe you could cook. So there has to be a belief system that we have, because again, we're trying to get to the core of the matter. And your consequences. How do you handle the consequence of your life? How do you handle, it's something there, but somebody told you that you're not going to make it. Somebody told you about your dream. If I was you, girl, I'd do it. It's like, well, hold up, sister girl. This is my dream and my vision. So I don't need, I appreciate your input, but since it's my vision anyway, so if you were me, you would do like I do it. But there are consequences. So you got to be able to handle situations. You got to be able to deal with people. You got to be able to talk with people. You got to be able to love on people, even people you don't necessarily like. So that there's consequences to your actions. And finally, the pure principle of living. Again, acronyms, which is my favorite thing.
Can't wait for
I love my acronyms. I'm good at it. So let me just throw this in free. Whatever you do, this don't cost you nothing. Whatever you're good at, I would suggest you take that and run with it. If you know you can sing, be the best singer. If you know you can tap like crazy. If you can swim forward and back. Whatever you're good at. I'm not saying you shouldn't do other stuff, but you take that thing that God has given you and you get to the core. When you get to the core of that thing and on your way, be the best school teacher. Be the best at what, what? I told God, I said, I want to be the best. Yes. If I'm popping my fingers, I want to pop them on beat. Whatever I can do, I want to be the best. But finally, the pure principles of living. Pursue your dreams. Acknowledge your dreams. Dump the doubt. Silence the skeptics. Take the first step. Understanding steps to take. Always have a reason to live for. Those who fear change won't and they don't. Teamwork, you're not alone. So understand there's steps you got to take, but always have a reason to live. Never give up. I don't care what life look like. If when I look at my purse, sometimes I look and there's nothing but lint. I just pull it out and put it in the trash because I know one day I'm gonna look in that wallet and there's gonna be some money. So I got to take the steps to get where I believe that I'm supposed to be. And next is the responsibility needed to build. When you're building your dreams and your vision, you're responsible to make sure you get up early in the morning. Make sure you stay late. Make sure you do whatever it takes. Make sure you go the extra mile. It's your vision. It's your dream.
You're
Don't
right.
give up. And finally, endure. It means to bear, to suffer, to abide, to tolerate. To stand means to trying to put something, even when it's painful, you're still doing it. So I declare today, if you just pursue your dreams and understand the steps to take it, be responsible when God gives you something to build, and endure. Endure like a good soldier, because if you endure, you will reap. And let me leave you with this. When you become an expert, see, I'm an expert at what I do. Whatever it is, I'm gonna be an expert at what I do. If it's talking, I'm gonna be an expert. If it's writing quote, I'm gonna be an expert. Whatever I can do, and find the beauty in life. Everything work together for the good of them who love the Lord and who are the called according to His purpose. And finally, I want to leave you with a poem. And I promise you, you know how the preachers do. They have about 5 closings. in my closing, but no, actually, this is the final thing. And the poem is, I am an onion. When you peel back the layers, will you like what you see? I am an onion. I may cause you tears, but will you still like me? I am an onion. It's dark in the ground. Will you dig me out? I am an onion. My roots, like feelings, grow deep. But sometimes I scream and shout, I am an onion. If I get dropped, will you pick me off the floor? I am an onion. I am all these things and so much more. I am an onion.
Wow.
Right.
All right now.
Okay.
3 points in a poem.
I got excited one time, man. I'm like, oh.
Oh,
Okay. So I told y'all it was gonna be good tonight. I told you it was gonna be good. Told you. Are you guys enjoying the journey? Type in yes if you're enjoying this journey tonight. I am enjoying the journey. I told you it's a journey. And this is the thing, because a lot of times we just don't deal with this stuff because, you know, we want things to happen the way we want them to happen. We want, you know, we have our own idea of how our life is supposed to be. You know, we have it all figured out. I know I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to have this. I want to be this. I want to, whatever it is. In a lot of cases, we end up so lost because we have not dealt with that stuff on the inside.
Yeah.
And it hinders everything that we're trying to do on the outside. It really just does. So I want you guys to really, like, you know, grasp this stuff and enjoy this process tonight. Because there's one thing that I need you to be sure that you don't do while you're dealing with this journey. Because just like, you know, we say this saying so often.
Ooh.
I did the point, don't judge an onion by the outer layer, but you should never judge a book by the cover.
By the cover, never.
Because, and this can be for good and it can be for the worse, because you have to remember, just like you, everyone has a core and everyone has layers. You might not, because you can't see remember, on the outer is what we see initially, and it's not who they are. And even when they peel back to the first layer, it's not really the deal. What's the deal is way down on the inside. But there's one thing for sure, you can't hide it.
right.
It's gonna show up, and that's why you have to deal with this stuff. Because once you dealt with your core, you can better have compassion for somebody else, and you can also be cautious with allowing your spiritual discernment to work in your favor, but when you're dealing with other people coming into your life.
Wow.
We have to be very careful. And a lot of times we let our guard down. We're so quick to, I used to tell Kyle this all the time, and I tell some of my artists and some of the younger people I deal with, be careful who you label a friend.
Yes.
Because they'll come to me and they'll say, oh, because there's a friend of mine who blah, blah, blah. I said, friend? What's the friend's name? And then they'll name the person. Oh, I've never heard you mention this person. How do you know the person? And they know I'm going somewhere. And they'll be like, okay, well, she's not actually really a friend. I said, so why did you put that label on her if she's not really your friend? You use that term way too loosely. Just say I met a girl, or a girl I know, or somebody I go to school with, or something, or one of my classmates, or another artist, or something. But be careful what you label people, because down in the core, it's some stuff, and you won't see it right away because that core stuff starts to surface. You hear how, and then talks about when you start cutting at that onion, it'll make you cry, and it gets, that potency is way down on the inside, and you mess around and pull back one of them rings. You might get something you didn't bargain for. Amen. And amen again.
Amen.
So what we also have to do is we have to learn to shed the excess.
Amen.
Part of dealing with you is first understanding that you have to realize you can't hide the real deal.
No, you can't.
No.
When you think you're hiding your insecurities, people see you.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to peel off the ugly onion skin. It's ugly on the outside. But when you get past that, even to the exterior layer, it's prettier underneath. It just is. So all that baggage, all of that stuff, it's like, we carry. Why do we carry that outer layer? We carry that outer layer because we're trying to hide. Brenda talked about that in the beginning. We're trying to hide. We want to hide from everybody.
But then the other part is, right, but we allow other people to come in, and we take that as them supporting us. No, they want to keep you hidden so they can be superior to you and stay in your life.
Those are rings that they're adding.
Right, because they just coming to you for benefits.
Oh,
it's like when you get that job, and there's benefits with the job, not just the salary.
See, I needed my keyboard plugged in tonight. So
Ding.
I wanted to go I wanted to do that right there, Stacy. I wanted to go into a couple of times I felt like they were about to pull it. You felt that in your spirit, Stacy? You felt somebody was about to pull it on you? I'm telling you. And that's, but you're right, though, Brandon. It's like they keep adding and adding and adding, but we've got to, not be afraid of releasing that excess, because when you do, you feel a little lighter.
Yes.
Because you're free.
Yes.
You're not holding on to the baggage.
Could it be, Nita, that we don't want, we think we want, like we almost sabotage ourselves because we think we want to get somewhere, but we don't,
Yeah.
It goes back to that sabotaging. It's not the other people, it's us. Like, but what if I do write the book? Or what if I do this? So it's a fear of what if I.
Come on.
Yeah, it's like this, like you said, and that if I write the book, but what if no one buys it?
Yeah.
But if you don't write it, you don't know if anyone's going to buy it.
That's right. And that's
and so we will sit. How do you second guess the future when you don't know it?
That's it.
That's my question. How do you second guess the future when you don't know it? And if you're not moving forward, you're not adding to what the future can be.
That's right. Oh my God.
It's your future. It's my future. If I don't get up and take the step of faith, because that's what it is, take the leap. But if I don't do that, there is no future. I'm just living now. But I'm not even living. I'm existing. I am that bump that sits on the road that just, it's been part of the pavement. They done rolled over it twice. It's still there and it does nothing. It serves no purpose. So how dare you live when God wake you up every morning, then birth something in you, and you don't decide and make the decision? Because again, it's free will. It's all, guess what? Everybody on this line, you're already pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So you might as well carry it to term and let it come out. Because that's just it.
That's it.
Do not abort, and you will feel lighter. When that baby show up, you're going to love it and you're going to be glad you gave birth.
That is so true. And the thing is, you have to understand, because Sharon just said something, and it's so true. She said, everyone has a journey that they are designed to take.
Yes.
You're designed for the journey.
Yes.
So
Yes.
don't be afraid to peel off that excess, because when you're free and you find your thrill, I found my thrill, or you get your groove back, then you can actually do some things then.
Yes.
Because you couldn't be productive. How could you be productive?
Right.
Because you didn't know what was there. You didn't know what was way down on the inside. Because the truth of the matter is, because they're sprouting from the core.
Yes.
That's the seed.
Yes,
that's the new stuff. That's the stuff you give birth to. Because you have to deal with the center to get the right thing. And when you sprout, when that onion sprout, you got that little green thing coming up from the top. That's new birth.
That's it.
That's new stuff. That's the regeneration.
Yes.
That's that new thing. That's that new beginning.
Yes.
And you take that new beginning and you plant that new beginning. You've dealt with the core, so the good stuff comes from the core. And then you can keep growing and growing and growing and growing. Because your spirit yearns to get all of the dreams and visions out of you. Yes. And you know what? And we don't believe it sometimes when we actually look at that onion and we look at how many layers on us. You're stronger than you think. Yes. A lot of times we don't give ourselves credit because you're stronger. You can survive that thing. That storm you're in, you will survive it.
Yes.
Wow.
That situation that you're dealing with, you can survive that. You're more than a conqueror. We're overcomers, and we don't give ourselves enough credit. And we say, oh God, everybody, oh, woe is me. Get out of that woe is me thing. Get those layers off. Shed that excess. Because there's a sprout on the inside that wants to emerge.
Exactly.
You're resilient. And she touched on this earlier. You know, I had to go to the side and pull out my dictionary. She was talking about resilience. And when I looked at the word resilience, it means the capability of a strained body to recover its size and shape after deformation caused by, especially by compression and stress.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you've been compressed and stressed and deformed, you have the resilience, you have the ability, the capability to go past all of that strain, all of that stress, all of those emotional problems, all of those wounds and scars and battles and all of that warfare. You have the ability to recover the size and shape and the deformation that's been caused.
Yeah. And all that, and Anita, all you're saying here, and everyone understand, if you don't get anything out, you were built for this.
That's what
I need you to.
Everybody got it done, and they were designed for.
You were built for this. Infrastructure was laid while you were in your mother's womb. God already knew what He was going to be doing. So that's why you were built for this. So no matter what is coming your way, and this is the other part. When folks start speaking death, walk away.
Walk.
That's it.
Walk away. You don't even have to make them understand that. You are not held accountable for that. We spend too much time trying to convince everybody that what you're doing is right. At this point, when God gives you a vision, you got to have what I call a I don't care ministry. I'm pushing forward. I don't care, because that frees you up. God is about freedom, and we keep forgetting that. God is a practical God. Why would He give you a vision if He knew it wasn't going to happen? It's only on you. Don't blame nobody
for the vision.
Exactly. Don't blame nobody else but you. Yeah, he gave it to you.
Type that in, yo. Type in, I was built for this. I want to sneak that one in.
Oh, already.
Type in, I was built for this.
I was built for this.
You are so right, Brand. If he gave it to you, he's giving you the provision for it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. But it's that kind of language you have to speak into your spirit, because what we need to understand, what goes into our hearing goes into our core, and we've been talking about the core all night.
Yeah.
So be mindful. I don't want the junk food. I don't want the potato chips, the hot sausage, and the chips. So I want, you know, or that pig feet and the pickle and all that stuff.
Pickled egg.
At this point in your life, at this point where you are, if you're ready for everything that God has for you, then you got to get prepared. Mm-hmm. You know, we pray the Jabez prayer, but are you making room? Have you built the room? Are you ready? You have to prepare for this. And our blessings are positional. So that means movement. That means action. That means taking leaps, taking steps. That means cutting some folk off.
Come on.
Because everybody ain't supposed to be in your theater. Everybody's show ain't supposed to be on the front row. You got to have I don't care. I'm going on with what I'm supposed to do. They don't have to like you. They ain't got to love you. If they don't, then they going to hell because they don't love you. You ain't got nothing to do with that. But this is why I love these sessions, because we have to push each other because we're like-minded. We want greater. And that's the thing. Do you want greater? That's my question tonight.
Yeah. I want greater.
I do too.
I want greater. I want to live the life that I see. Because when I see the dream, God, let me tell you, it looks so good. And if I can see it, I can have it.
Yes.
And I know that it's all, I say this all the time. Everything that we'll ever have, become, or do, it all starts in our mind. Yes. And we have got to change our mind. We got to change the way we think. And when we change the way we think, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And when we start speaking the right stuff, we change our language, and everything that comes out of our mind, our mouth has positivity, and we start to shower all of that and speak those things that are not as though they were. Because we can have it. We can do it. We can become it. But we have to believe it. Right. We have to, once we see the dream, we have to take the dream to vision status. And when we take that dream from a dream to a place to a vision, then we take that vision to envision. And once we envision, we go to pursuit of purpose. I'm going after mine.
Exactly.
Because I've already seen it. Remember we said last week, there are two different types of people in the world. There are realists and dreamers. Okay, you can be a realist all day long. A realist knows what's going to happen and okay, this is actual practical reality. But a dreamer has been there before.
Yeah.
You have seen it. You've been there before. So because you've seen it, now you just got to catch up to it. Oh,
yeah. It is mental mastery. And that is in whatever we do. 3 years ago, I weighed 331 pounds. I had a health coach. I joined a group. I did the 10-day cleanse, the whole thing. But until we did a mental mastery change, I had to understand where this came from, that food became my comfort. I had to write out my old relationships. How did they end? How did I feel when they ended? So when my mind changed, when I stopped going on diets and changed my lifestyle and made it a healthy eating lifestyle, I dropped 62 pounds.
That's what I'm
Mental mastery.
That's what
and happens. That's why when I talk about with folk, you might need to drop 221 pounds, however much that person weighs. But it's mental mastery. Once my mind changed, my speech changed. When my speech changed, my surroundings of folk
everything changed.
It affects everything.
Because you water stuff with your mouth. You water your seed.
Exactly.
You water your seed by what comes out of your mouth.
Right.
I'm telling you.
I know Brenda had said something earlier about being pregnant, and I was thinking about, once you're impregnated, there's a core There, you know, when if you ever look at the little what's implanted, it's a core, and eventually that core, you know, you'll be able to produce. So maybe, you know, we all got a core, but what are you doing? Is there so much onion around the core? So
Come on now.
and the baby can't get it, it can't grow. So all you have in your in your inner man is core, but the baby can't grow because you're not feeding it, because it can't get any nutrients because of everything that's around it. I hope that what you're saying about being impregnated. Yeah.
My goodness.
That almost made me want to be pregnant. No, just kidding. That's a joke. Joke.
Oh God.
Well, ladies, this has been an amazing night, and I'm gonna, you know, I'm not gonna open them up, but I want you guys, whoever wants to unmute. I want to hear from some of you tonight. I want to hear some. You may have a question. You may have a comment. You may have a testimony. You may just want to say, you know what, how this blessed me. But let me hear from you.
Yes, please.
So let's hear from some of you guys tonight. And if you don't know how to unmute yourself, just raise your hand, and I'll unmute. Oh, Stacy unmuted herself. Go ahead, Stacy.
This was amazing. It was awesome. All of your insight and just just what all of you guys contributed, and the comments, and everything was just so on point with where I am at in my life right now. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you very much for imparting into me and just pouring into my life. I really appreciate it. And I mean, just words of wisdom and just a lot of goodness. So I appreciate it, and I really enjoyed myself tonight.
We appreciate you for coming, Stacey. I know this is your second time with us. We appreciate having you. And we got to have you on one night. I mean, you know, Stacey's got a hidden gem. She's doing some stuff, and, you know, she and Maria, they're my Earth Angels from the Lisa Nichols group. And we've been keeping in touch with each other with once a month meetings. And we've been encouraging each other, because let me tell you, it takes other people. We were talking about this a few weeks ago, that you're not designed to be alone. You're not designed to do things alone. You're not. So, but it takes you pulling together with the community and with like-minded people for where you're going in this thing. Hello, Kevin. It takes like-minded people. I see my brother-in-law in the screen there. Hello. So thank you so much for coming. And we, you know, like, let me tell you, this night really, we never knew what we were getting into when we decided to start. And we went through some hills and valleys and some bumps in the road. But our Can We Talk sessions have been like one of the most uplifting things that I can say I've done in my lifetime.
Yeah, me too.
Because I love it when I know that people are being fed and encouraged, and, you know, businesses are growing, and oh man, it's just, I can't even begin. So thank you so much, Stacey, for saying something. Anybody else? Come on, people. I know we got a couple of people like falling off. They may think I'm gonna come to them and make them speak. Somebody else want to say something? We have Sharon, we have Michelle.
Look, somebody on need it.
Somebody on? Lashavia?
Yes. Hello, everybody. I just want to say that I'm glad that I came on tonight.
Speak up a little. We can't hear you.
I just want to say I'm glad I came on tonight. I really wasn't feeling too well, but I'm glad that, you know, I was able to tune in, and some of the things that were said were speaking to me, and I'm thankful to learn about the onion and, you know, pulling away some of the layers.
Excellent. Well, that's good. We're so glad to hear your voice, and we're looking forward to seeing you one day. I know you have, but this is a step. At least, at least we get to hear your voice and know what you sound like. But we're glad that you're able to get something out of it. That's our goal. Our goal is to empower each other. So, and we do our work. We do our research to make sure that we're just not on just talking. So, thank you so much. You're a blessing to us, and continue to come and bring somebody.
Thank you. I will.
Somebody else want to say something? Did somebody come on?
Hey y'all, it's me, Valerie.
Uh-huh.
I'm working. But I'm
Okay.
listening. Y'all sisters was showing out tonight. I started to hold my mule up here. But I'm in these people's workplace and I can't act like that. They wouldn't understand.
Crazy.
We're so happy to have you, Valerie. You can't be acting up.
Yeah, I'm working. I hear y'all. I got the camera off because I'm moving around.
Uh-huh.
I'm doing some stuff. Girl, they messed around and gave me a computer with 2 screens, and y'all should see me in here. Pray for me. Pray my strength in the Lord. Pray for me.
We got you, sis. We got you. Anybody else? Anybody else want to say something? Everybody else good? Ida, how them babies doing? Good. Good.
She went to the doctor today. They're doing good.
Excellent.
They're both, they both over 1 pound.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's really good.
And strong heartbeats and everything.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yes,
We've
Lord.
been praying with Ida for her daughter. Her daughter's pregnant with twins. And she had some complications. This is her 3rd time, and this time she's looking really good. So we're going to continue to keep you guys in prayer. And all right, good people. So if anybody else want to say anything, please come on, speak now, or hold your peace until next week.
I thought you was going to say Ida was having twins. Wink,
Oh,
wink.
no, honey. No, Ida was done. Well, how old Kevin? 14? Ida was done 14 years ago. That was it. She's talking about her grandbabies. No, Alexis. All right, good people. So we are, we're going to go ahead and close out unless somebody else want to say something. We're going to go ahead and close out. Kevin, want to say something?
No, he thought that comment was very funny.
Oh, he was laughing at the comment.
About me being pregnant.
Yes, that was mighty comedic. Oh, Michelle.
You guys tonight.
Huh?
I enjoyed you guys tonight.
Oh, thank you. We're glad to have you in our presence.
Onion, that's good.
Uh-huh. Glad to have you in our presence.
Oh, I enjoyed it over dinner.
Good. Good. I forgot what you look like. You got all up in the camera and grew your little hair out a little bit. Michelle, you wanted to say something? I see you put your camera on. I can't hear you. Turn your mic on. Okay, now we got you.
Okay, discussion today was very interesting. I have to say, I'm living at, I'm not at the core of my onion. I'm at the I guess those layers.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see myself in like layers such as the non-relationship. I can feel myself there, which is primarily my workplace.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I get through that because I have to learn me. Mm-hmm. And that's why I put it up when Annette was saying something about, Lord, help me to know me. Mm-hmm. And that's where I'm at now. So I just wanted to share that little bit.
Okay.
But it's a whole lot of that, just that bit. But I thank y'all for the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, this is, I'm telling you, this night was really something. I had chills preparing.
Yeah.
I had chills preparing.